Welcome to this course on Open Source Intelligence Fundamentals. My name is Heath Adams, and I'm going to be your instructor for this course. A little bit about myself. I am a husband, military veteran, and I am an ethical hacker by trade. I actually used to be a former accountant, and then I turned into a cybersecurity geek. So if you're watching this and you're not in information security or cybersecurity, but you're interested in getting into it, or you're doing this for investigative purposes or anything else, you could pretty much come from any background and get into this field, given you have the motivation and dedication. From day to day, I am an ethical hacker and a business owner at TCM Security. We are a training academy. If you're here watching this, we are also a penetration testing, ethical hacking, cybersecurity boutique. From a certification standpoint, there's a list of my certifications. Most of them are in ethical hacking or something related to IT. And if you're interested in finding me on social media, you can pretty much find me anywhere with the handle of the Cyber Mentor. And if you're interested in seeing me on YouTube, you could see me on YouTube over at the Cyber Mentor. We have about 140,000 subscribers there at the time of recording. Twitch, we stream live 3 days a week, and we have about 20,000 there. And I have taught in the past to about 200,000 students now with practical ethical hacking course and the privilege escalation courses on top of teaching on YouTube and on Twitch. If you're interested in finding more about me or about TCM Security, my links are there with the Cyber Mentor and tcm-sec.com. So briefly, what is OSINT? And did I take this from Wikipedia? I absolutely did, because that's open source. So OSINT is open source intelligence. This is a way for us to go out and gather information that is publicly available. That's the best way to put this. It is information that is out there that we can go gather, and we don't have to do any real active gathering. That means we don't have to really interact with a person or a human to gather this information. We can just go out there passively and gather information from resources like Google, from social media, from websites, from businesses. This is all public. Okay. And with that being said, why would you take this course? Well, if you're interested in learning this type of stuff, you're interested in improving your research skill set or methodology, or you want to just gain a better understanding of the OSINT techniques that are out there. Lastly, if you want to gain personal OPSEC or operational security, this course is going to focus mainly on TCM security and myself as the prime target. And you will see, as a public figure, I don't have the best operational security. So when you're going through this course, think about the ways, and really, when I'm using myself as an example, I really want you to think about using yourself as an example and your business if you have one, or your career, and just see what kind of information is out there about you. This will really help you understand what you're putting out on the internet or what's on the internet about you, and can really help in that sense as well. But if you're interested in the world of investigation, if you're interested in police work, if you're interested in helping find missing people, if you're helping and interested in bringing down bad people, this course can be useful for you. If you're interested in the hacker world, there's a lot of stuff that you can do that will help with gathering information and finding information about organizations, people, or company. Really helps out if you're doing social engineering, if you're doing ethical hacking from a attack perspective, if you're doing physical penetration testing where you're going on site and trying to break into buildings. There's all kinds of useful ways that OSINT can be applied. This course is just going to show you how to gather that information, and then you can take that back and apply it to your specific field or skill set. With that being said, there are some prerequisites to this course. Now, the layout and structure of this course is going to be taught in the sense that I'm going to show you everything up front with doing just using a web browser. Just a web browser, anybody can do that. The latter half of the course is going to be working with tools, and we're going to build a lab with Linux and using virtualized software. So if you've never used a VMware type software or some sort of virtualized environment, this might be a little bit of a stepping stone for you. If you've never used Linux, it might be a little bit of a stepping stone. I'm going to walk as slowly and explain like you're five, just to make sure that everybody can understand this. So if you have Linux experience, it might be a little slow going for some parts, but still we're going to walk through how to use tools, how to gather information, but everything that I show you up front is all methodology based. So you're going to learn the methodology first and foremost. And that's the big takeaway from this. I can show you a tool, I can show you a website, but tomorrow that website or that tool could be gone, it could be broken. The significance and importance of this course is that you're going to learn the methodology and the methods applied to finding data, finding any sort of information that's open source, and then applying those methods. So even though we're going to learn the websites and we're going to learn the tools and we're going to use Linux, it's important that you learn the methodology more than anything else. So I encourage you, even if you have no Linux experience or even if you have no virtualization experience, that you still go through this course, you still soak up all the knowledge and methodologies, and then you can learn how to apply those on your own terms. The only thing that is 100% required is a desire to learn. If you don't have a desire to learn, I don't think this course is going to be for you. With that being said, what are we going to cover in this course? So we're going to briefly do an overview of OSINT, and then we're going to work on note keeping because I think taking effective notes is important, especially with all the topics we're going to cover. I want to make sure that you are taking good notes. We'll talk about sock puppets and what sock puppets are. We'll look at image and location OSINT, which is going to talk about reverse image searching, looking at EXIF data, looking at physical locations, looking at geography. We'll talk about email hunting. How can we gather email addresses? And on top of that, how can we gather passwords related to those email addresses? So we'll look at data breaches and how we can tie information points to each other based on data breaches. We'll look at finding usernames across websites, finding people through different search engines, through voter records, through phone numbers, through resumes. There's a lot of stuff that we can cover there. We're going to look at social media. So we'll look at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Reddit, LinkedIn, TikTok. There's a bunch of platforms that are out there, and the methodologies are very similar across the platforms, but you'll kind of get the gist as we go through it. And we'll look at website OSINT and business OSINT and wireless networks. We'll also take a look at the dark web. We'll take a look at building out our labs. We'll work with some tools that we use in Linux that can automate some of the process for us. We're also going to focus a little bit on OSINT automation. So I'm going to build out a small tool that's going to automate some website OSINT, and that's going to hopefully get the wheels spinning on how you can make your own tools and how you can go out there and automate some of this process to save yourself some time. We're going to have a course challenge as well. So you're going to have to take all the knowledge that you learned, and I'm going to put out some information out there and see if you can hunt it down and find it. And that will lead into report writing. So we're going to take the course challenge as an example, use that to write a report, and that way you can see what an OSINT report looks like and understand the fundamentals, not just the researching, but how to write a report, which I think is sometimes not covered or usually not covered. And I think it's a super important part of building out a course and building out any of these topics. So with that being said, I really, really hope you enjoy this course. I'm looking forward to teaching you, and I hope you get a lot out of this. So let's get started, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.